So I just appreciate everybody coming out to hear from our wonderful legislators over here. We have legislators from all across the state. Representative Jody Barrett was going to be with us, but then he decided that he was going to run from our green seat. And so he's actually doing a candidate for him for that position tonight. So he will not be with us, but we do have 6 out of our 7 legislators. We are going to have a moderator for our meeting this evening, and his name is Steve Reed. He is a business owner for Benchmark Home Loans. And I got to know Steve when we helped host a Biblical Worldview Summit for pastors, and he bought a copy of Letter for the American Church for every one of the pastors, which was amazing. Steve also recently just answered a need in our community for people to be able to afford their first home. Right now there's an issue where the homes are unaffordable, and so he came up with a business to help these young people get an entry-level home, which I think is awesome. So our moderator for the evening is Steve Reed, and I'll have him come up and he can read the rules of engagement for everybody. Steve.
Good evening. Thank you guys for coming. Before we get started, I just want to recognize, do we have anybody that served or is serving in our military? If you guys would stand up, we'd like to recognize you. None of this would be even possible tonight, so let's just exercise our freedoms, have a good time. Just a couple of things like Danielle mentioned as far as with the rules. So this is not one of those, the rules are, there's no rules. The rules are, please be respectful. I know you guys have heard this before, I'm sure you will be. One person speak at a time. The answers will be timed. So if you'll look over here to Ann, who's our timer, see how much time is left. Oh, you moved. Okay. All right. So if you see, the yellow is for 30 seconds that she's holding up now, and then the pink is to stop. Okay. So we've got several kind of issues and questions we wanted to go over. So we would appreciate everyone's participation in that if you would, just adherence to that if you can. So we want to. I think each of you will get plenty of time. So we're going to start with one question for our young Republican candidates. Did Mason come in? Is he here? I don't see Mason. So
he said he might be running late, but
okay.
We can maybe go ahead and get started with Rachel.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to have, there's going to be an election on September 25th. 6:30 at the Jonesboro Middle School. Pre-registration is required. And there's forms here we can give you out tonight that we can give to the 18 to 40-year-olds. Just to clarify, are they the only ones that can vote in this, right? Okay. All right. So let's old guys can vote. Okay. So if you know any 18 to 40-year-olds in the neighborhood or wherever, if you would encourage them to vote. So at this time, there's Mason. At this time, we're going to let Rachel, if you'll stand up and introduce yourself, and then we'll have one question for each one of you guys.
Hi, my name is Rachel Mell, and I am a graduate of ETSU. I started the Turning Point USA chapter at ETSU and was the president of the chapter through all of my collegiate career, and I'm really excited to be getting involved in Young Republicans and hope that I can apply the same things that I used to grow the chapter on campus with Young Republicans.
Thank you. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we've got a question for you. Okay. So here's the question for Rachel. What are the top issues of your generation, and how would you address them legislatively?
Thank you for that really important question.
You have 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay. This is a really important question. The very first thing that comes to mind is abortion. I'm a Christian first and foremost, and a third of my generation is missing because they've been murdered in the womb. And this is a really important issue because if we don't have the right to life, then everything else falls apart. And so legislatively, I think that this is a state-by-state fight to abolish abortion in each state, to eventually pressure the United States Congress to abolish it as well. So that's the number one issue for me. The number two issue is the nuclear family. The nuclear family is being attacked on all fronts right now. I actually co-authored a resolution to make June Nuclear Family Month in Tennessee, and Bud Holsey actually sponsored that bill, and Rebecca Alexander voted to pass it through committee, and so hopefully it will get through the legislature this next session. And this is so important because the nuclear family is the bedrock of society, and if it's falling apart, the rest of society falls apart. The third most important issue, I think, is illegal immigration. We really need to control our border. Young people want safe communities to raise their children in, and thankfully President Trump is really doing a great job of cracking down on illegal immigration and securing our border. And lastly, I would say the most important local issue is the rising cost of living for young people specifically. We have an issue where the job market is not keeping up with the housing market, and young people are not able to afford homes, they're not being able to find good jobs that support their families, and this is vitally important. I think the best way to measure the success of a local economy is how the people who live here are able to afford to live, are able to afford to feed their families, and are able to buy homes. I think things like tourism, while very important, are not the best measure of success for a local economy, and so I think we need to pass policies that can help with the cost of living crisis. There are a lot of issues that I think are very important, so if you want to come talk to me about any of them, please feel free to find me, and I'd love to chat with you. Thank you.
All right, our next young Republican candidate is Mason Mosier. That's a tongue twister. Never had to say both of your names at the same time. So anyway, introduce yourself.
Well, you pronounce it right. Usually people think it's Francis and Mosier or something else like that. Well, my name's Mason, and I have the distinct pleasure of also running, but I gotta say, it's hard to follow that because Rachel touched on a lot of the points that we really want to focus on. So when it comes to homeownership for our generation, that is huge. If we can do something with homeownership, and we can make sure, I know that Florida just passed something where that they rezoned and deregulated where they could build more houses. Now, we don't want cheap commercial houses, but we do want an opportunity to be able to get those houses to young people. And I think that ties directly into college and how the people go to college and they don't have an opportunity. They go sometimes $20,000 to $25,000 in debt when they could be going to trade schools or other things like that. And it is vitally important that we offer other alternatives than just college for our young people. And I think the last thing is having kind of a Big Tent party. So for President Donald Trump actually pulled in a ton of young voters. If we can find a way to retain and keep them, I think it is vitally important for the generations to come. And my name is Mason. I had the pleasure of being student body president at my university, and I'm hoping to continue to influence some 15,000 students and make sure that we can continue to get their support and grow the Republican Party. Thanks.